You are exactly where you deserve to be based on the daily decisions you've been making for the past 5 years. Not where you want to be, not where you think you should be, but where you deserve to be. Your current income is what you've earned through your daily habits. Your current health is what you've created through your daily choices. Your current relationships are what you've built through your daily actions. And if you don't like where you are, it's nobody's fault but your own. The victim mentality that says life happens to you instead of through you is the biggest lie you've been telling yourself. Success isn't lucky, and failure isn't unlucky. Both are predictable based on your daily disciplines or lack thereof. Your life is not an accident. It's an appointment with the consequences of your choices. Hey, let me tell you something that might shock you. 1 month, 30 days, that's all it takes to completely transform your life. Now, I know what you're thinking. Jim, that sounds too good to be true. How can 1 month change everything? Well, let me share with you a story that will change how you think about time, about effort, and about what's truly possible when you focus your energy like a laser beam. I remember a conversation I had with a businessman who was struggling. He'd been in business for 5 years, working hard every day, but he was going nowhere fast. He was frustrated, tired, and ready to quit. I asked him a simple question. What if you focused on just one thing for the next 30 days? What if you put all your energy, all your attention, all your effort into solving just one problem in your business? He looked at me like I was crazy. Jim, he said, I've got 100 problems. I can't just focus on one. That's when I knew I had to teach him something fundamental about success. You see, the problem wasn't that he had too many problems. The problem was that he was trying to solve all of them at once. And when you try to be everywhere, you end up nowhere. So I challenged him. Give me 30 days, I said. Pick your biggest problem, the one that's costing you the most money or causing you the most stress, and focus on nothing else for 30 days. Don't try to fix everything, just fix one thing. He was skeptical, but he was also desperate enough to try. What happened next was remarkable. In 30 days, he increased his business revenue by 40%. Not by working harder, not by putting in more hours, but by focusing all his energy on solving one specific problem. That 1 month didn't just change his business, it changed his entire approach to life. You see, most people underestimate the power of focused effort over a short period. They think that because something takes only 30 days, it can't be that important. But here's what I've learned after decades of studying success. It's not the length of time that matters, it's the intensity of focus during that time. Think about it this way. If you have a magnifying glass and you hold it over a piece of paper in the sunlight, nothing happens. But if you hold it still, focusing all that light into one tiny spot, you can start a fire. The sun didn't get any hotter, the magnifying glass didn't change, the only thing that changed was the focus. That's exactly what happens when you focus your life energy on one thing for 30 days. You take all the scattered energy you normally spread across dozens of activities and concerns, and you concentrate it into one powerful beam. The results aren't just better, they're completely different. But here's the key. It has to be 30 days of real focus, not 30 days of half-hearted effort. Most people say they're focused, but they're really just busy. They're like a person trying to dig a well by starting 10 different holes. They work hard, they sweat, they get tired, but they never hit water because they never dig deep enough in any one place. Real focus means saying no to everything else. It means disappointing some people. It means missing some opportunities. It means being comfortable with the temporary discomfort of putting all your eggs in one basket. But that's exactly what makes it so powerful. I've seen this principle work in every area of life. I've seen people transform their health in 30 days by focusing on just one habit. I've seen relationships saved by 30 days of focused attention. I've seen careers launched and businesses built on the foundation of one focused month. The magic isn't in the 30 days themselves. The magic is in what 30 days of focus teaches you about yourself and about what's possible. It teaches you that you have more power than you think. It teaches you that you can change faster than you believe. It teaches you that most of the limitations you've accepted are just illusions. When you focus intensely for 30 days, you don't just change your circumstances, you change your identity. You become the kind of person who follows through. You become the kind of person who can focus. You become the kind of person who gets results. And once you become that person, everything else becomes easier. But let me warn you about something. This isn't about perfection. This isn't about doing everything right for 30 days. This is about doing one thing consistently for 30 days. There's a big difference. Perfection is the enemy of progress. Consistency is the friend of transformation. I've watched too many people fail because they tried to change everything at once. They wanted to lose weight, so they changed their diet, started exercising, began meditating, quit smoking, and reorganized their entire life all in the same week. By day 10, they were overwhelmed and gave up on everything. But the people who succeed understand something crucial. One change, done consistently, creates momentum for all other changes. It's like dominoes. You don't push all the dominoes at once. You push one and it knocks down the next one, which knocks down the next one, and so on. That's why 30 days is perfect. It's long enough to create real change, but short enough that you can maintain intense focus. It's long enough to build a habit, but short enough that you can see the finish line from the starting line. It's long enough to get results, but short enough that you won't get bored or distracted. Now here's what most people don't understand about focus. They think focus is about concentration. They think it's about staring harder at something or trying harder to pay attention. But that's not focus at all. That's just effort. Real focus is about elimination. It's about deciding what not to do. You see, you can't focus on everything. The word focus itself means to concentrate on a central point. If you're trying to focus on 10 things, you're not focusing on anything, you're just busy. And busy is not the same as productive. Busy is not the same as effective. Busy is not the same as successful. I learned this lesson the hard way early in my career. I was trying to be everything to everyone. I was trying to master every skill, pursue every opportunity, and solve every problem. I was working 18-hour days, but I wasn't getting anywhere. I was busy, but I wasn't focused. Then I met a mentor who taught me something that changed everything. He said, "Jim, success is not about doing more things. It's about doing the right things. And the right things are usually the hard things that you've been avoiding." That's when I realized that I had been using busyness as a way to avoid the real work. I was doing 100 easy things to avoid doing the one hard thing that would actually make a difference. Sound familiar? The truth is, there's usually one thing in your life right now that if you focused on it for 30 days would change everything. One relationship that needs attention, one skill that needs development, one habit that needs to be broken or built, one problem that needs to be solved, one opportunity that needs to be seized. But instead of focusing on that one thing, most people spread their energy across everything. They work on their health a little bit, their relationships a little bit, their career a little bit, their finances a little bit, and because they're working on everything a little bit, nothing changes very much. Here's what I want you to understand. A little bit of effort spread across many areas produces a little bit of change in all areas. But a lot of effort focused on one area produces a lot of change in that area, and that change then influences all other areas. When you improve your health significantly, you have more energy for your work. When you improve your work significantly, you have more resources for your family. When you improve your relationships significantly, you have more support for your goals. Everything is connected. But you can't work on the connections directly. You have to work on the individual pieces one at a time. That's the power of 1 month of focus. It's not just about what you accomplish in those 30 days. It's about what those 30 days teach you about yourself and what they prepare you for in the months and years that follow. When you prove to yourself that you can focus for 30 days, you realize you can focus for 60 days. When you prove you can focus for 60 days, you realize you can focus for 90 days. And when you can focus for 90 days, you can achieve almost anything, but it all starts with 30 days. 30 days of saying no to everything else so you can say yes to the one thing that matters most. 30 days of uncomfortable focus that leads to comfortable results. 30 days of temporary sacrifice that leads to permanent change. Let me tell you about another person who understood this principle. She was a teacher who had always dreamed of writing a book. For 10 years she talked about it. She made plans. She bought notebooks and pens. She even outlined chapters. But she never wrote the book because she was always too busy with other things. Then one day, she decided to give herself just 30 days. She made a commitment to write for 1 hour every morning before school, just 1 hour. She didn't worry about writing the whole book. She didn't worry about getting published. She just focused on writing for 1 hour every day for 30 days. By the end of that month, she had written 60 pages. More importantly, she had proven to herself that she was a writer. She had developed the habit of writing. She had overcome the fear of the blank page. She had become someone who writes, not just someone who talks about writing. That 1 month changed her identity. She continued writing for another 30 days, then another. Within 6 months, she had finished her book. Within a year, it was published. Within 2 years, she had quit teaching to become a full-time writer. But it all started with 1 month of focus, 1 month of choosing her dream over her comfort, 1 month of proving to herself that she could do what she said she wanted to do. You see, most people live their lives in a state of perpetual preparation. They're always getting ready to start. They're always planning to begin. They're always about to take action. But they never actually do it because they're waiting for the perfect time, the perfect circumstances, the perfect plan. But here's what I've learned. There is no perfect time. There are no perfect circumstances. There is no perfect plan. There is only now, and now is always imperfect. But imperfect action beats perfect inaction every time. 30 days of imperfect focus will produce better results than years of perfect planning. 30 days of messy progress will create more change than decades of clean preparation. 30 days of real action will teach you more than years of theoretical study. The beauty of focusing for just 30 days is that it forces you to start before you're ready. It forces you to act before you have all the answers. It forces you to move before you feel completely prepared. And that's exactly what you need to do to create real change in your life. The question isn't whether this works. The question is whether you're willing to do it. Are you willing to be uncomfortable for 30 days in order to be comfortable for the rest of your life? Are you willing to focus intensely for 1 month in order to live freely for all the months that follow? Are you willing to stop preparing and start performing? Are you willing to stop planning and start doing? Are you willing to stop thinking about change and start creating change? Now here's what most people don't understand about focus. They think it's about willpower. They think it's about forcing yourself to pay attention to something you don't want to pay attention to. But that's not sustainable. You can't force focus for 30 days. You'll burn out in a week. Real focus isn't about force, it's about clarity. When you're crystal clear about what you want and why you want it, focus becomes natural. When you're unclear about your goals, everything seems important. When you're clear about your goals, most things seem irrelevant. That's why the first step in a focused month isn't planning what you'll do, it's getting clear about what you want to achieve and why it matters to you. Without that clarity, you'll be trying to focus on something that doesn't really matter to you, and that's impossible to sustain. I remember working with a woman who wanted to start a business. She had a dozen business ideas, and she was trying to work on all of them at once. She was taking courses, reading books, attending seminars, and making plans for every possible venture. But she wasn't making progress on any of them. I asked her a simple question. If you could only work on one business idea for the next 30 days, which one would you choose? She couldn't answer. She said they were all important. That's when I knew she wasn't really focused on any of them. So I gave her an assignment. Go home and think about it. Don't think about which business might make the most money or which one might be the easiest. Think about which one excites you the most. Which one makes you want to get up early and stay up late? Which one would you work on even if you weren't getting paid? She came back a week later with a different energy. She had chosen one idea, and she could tell me exactly why it mattered to her. She had found her focus. And once she had that clarity, the next 30 days were easy. She made more progress in that month than she had made in the previous year. That's the power of clarity. When you know exactly what you want and exactly why you want it, focus isn't hard work. It's natural. It's like water flowing downhill. It takes the path of least resistance because it knows where it's going. But without clarity, focus is like trying to push water uphill. You can do it for a little while, but you'll get exhausted and eventually give up. That's why so many people fail at focus. They're trying to force themselves to work on something that doesn't really matter to them. The focus formula is simple. Clarity plus consistency equals results. But most people try to skip the clarity part and jump straight to the consistency part. They try to be consistent about something they're not clear about. And it never works. So before you commit to 30 days of focus, you need to get absolutely clear about three things. First, what exactly do you want to achieve? Not a vague goal like get healthier or make more money, but a specific, measurable outcome that you can clearly picture in your mind. Second, why does this matter to you? What will achieving this goal mean for your life? How will you feel when you accomplish it? What will be different about your daily experience? What will be different about your relationships? What will be different about your future? Third, what's the one thing that if you did it consistently for 30 days would make the biggest difference in achieving this goal? Not 10 things, not 5 things, not even 3 things. One thing. The one thing that matters most. Let me give you an example of how this works in practice. I once worked with a man who was struggling with his health. He was overweight, tired all the time, and felt like he was aging faster than he should. He wanted to get healthy, but he didn't know where to start. He had tried everything, different diets, exercise programs, supplements, even meditation. But nothing stuck because he was trying to change everything at once. He was scattered, overwhelmed, and frustrated. So I asked him those 3 questions. First, what exactly did he want to achieve? After some thought, he said he wanted to lose 20 pounds and have enough energy to play with his kids when he got home from work. Second, why did this matter to him? He said he was tired of being tired. He was tired of avoiding photos with his family. He was tired of feeling older than his age. He was tired of setting a bad example for his children. He wanted to feel strong and confident again. Third, what was the one thing he could do consistently for 30 days that would make the biggest difference? After we talked through all the options, he decided it was drinking more water, not changing his entire diet, not starting an intense workout routine, just drinking more water. It seemed almost too simple, but that's exactly why it worked. He focused on drinking half his body weight in ounces of water every day for 30 days. Nothing else, just water. What happened was remarkable. The extra water helped him feel less hungry, so he naturally ate less. It gave him more energy, so he naturally moved more. It helped him sleep better, so he naturally had more willpower the next day. One simple change created a chain reaction of positive changes. After 30 days, he had lost 8 pounds and felt more energetic than he had in years. More importantly, he had proven to himself that he could stick to a commitment. He had built confidence in his ability to change. That confidence led him to focus on exercise for the next 30 days. The exercise focus led him to focus on nutrition. The nutrition focus led him to focus on sleep. Within 6 months, he had transformed his health completely, but it all started with 30 days of drinking more water. You see, focus isn't about finding the perfect solution. It's about finding one solution and making it work. It's about taking one small step consistently rather than trying to take giant leaps sporadically. Most people fail at focus because they choose something too big or too complicated. They try to focus on changing their entire life instead of changing one specific habit. They try to focus on becoming a completely different person instead of making one specific improvement. But real focus is about choosing something so simple that you can't fail, then doing it so consistently that you can't help but succeed. It's about making success inevitable by making the required actions automatic. The goal isn't to pick the most important thing in your life. The goal is to pick one thing that you can do consistently for 30 days, and that will create momentum for everything else. Once you have that momentum, you can tackle bigger challenges. Once you have that confidence, you can take on more complex goals, but it all starts with one simple thing done consistently for 30 days. That's the formula. That's the secret. That's the key to everything. Once you have those three things clear, focus becomes a natural expression of who you are and what you want. It's not about discipline anymore. It's about alignment. You're not forcing yourself to do something you don't want to do. You're allowing yourself to do what you most want to do. And here's what happens when you're truly focused. Time seems to slow down. You have more energy, not less. You feel more motivated, not less. You feel more confident, not less. That's because you're finally moving in the direction you really want to go. But let me tell you what happens when you're not focused. Time seems to speed up. You're always tired. You're always stressed. You're always feeling like you're behind. That's because you're moving in every direction except the one you really want to go. Focused isn't about doing more. It's about doing what matters. It's about choosing the vital few over the trivial many. It's about saying no to good opportunities so you can say yes to great opportunities. It's about being comfortable with missing out on something so you can fully experience the things that matter most. You see, focus without a system is just wishful thinking. You can have all the clarity in the world, but if you don't have a system for turning that clarity into daily action, nothing will change. That's why most people fail at focus. They have good intentions, but they don't have good systems. A system is just a set of organized procedures that produce a predictable result. It's like a recipe. If you follow the recipe exactly, you'll get the same result every time. If you improvise or skip steps, you'll get unpredictable results. The same is true for focus. If you have a system for focusing, you'll get focused results. If you just try to focus without a system, you'll get random results, and random results are usually disappointing results. So what does a focus system look like? It starts with your morning routine. How you begin your day determines how you experience your day. If you start your day scattered, you'll be scattered all day. If you start your day focused, you'll be focused all day. Most people start their day by reacting to whatever demands attention. They check their phone before they're fully awake. They read emails that pull them in 10 different directions. They watch news that fills them with anxiety about things they can't control. They start their day in reactive mode, and they stay in reactive mode all day. But focused people start their day in creative mode. They wake up and immediately engage with their most important goal. They don't check their phone, they don't read emails, they don't watch news. They focus on their one thing before the world has a chance to distract them. This doesn't mean you have to wake up at 5 in the morning, although many successful people do. It means you have to protect the first hour of your day from distraction. That first hour sets the tone for everything that follows. I recommend starting with just 30 minutes. Set your alarm 30 minutes earlier than usual. Don't check your phone. Don't check your email. Don't watch TV. Just focus on your one thing for 30 minutes. Write about it, study it, plan it, work on it, think about it, but don't do anything else. After 30 minutes, you can return to your normal routine. But you return with a different energy. You return knowing that you've already made progress on what matters most. You return feeling accomplished instead of anxious. You return focused instead of scattered. That 30 minutes will be the most important 30 minutes of your day. It will be the foundation that everything else builds on. It will be the rudder that keeps you steering in the right direction no matter what storms come up during the day. But morning focus is just the beginning. You also need to build focus into the rest of your day. This means scheduling specific times for specific activities. It means turning off notifications during focused work time. It means saying no to interruptions that don't align with your goal. Let me tell you about a construction worker I met who understood this principle better than most executives I know. He worked 10-hour days in demanding physical labor, came home tired every evening, and had a family that needed his attention. Yet he managed to build a successful side business in just 1 year by applying focused daily discipline. How did he do it? He created what he called his power hour. Every day, without exception, from 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock in the morning, he worked on his business. Not 5:05, not 5:15, but exactly 5 o'clock. He prepared everything the night before so there would be no delays, no decisions to make, no reasons to procrastinate. During that hour, he did only business work. No checking social media, no reading news, no answering personal emails. Just one focused hour of building his future. Some days he worked on marketing, some days he worked on product development, some days he worked on finances, but every day he worked. After his power hour, he would exercise for 30 minutes, shower, have breakfast with his family, and go to his regular job. By the time most people were hitting the snooze button for the second time, he had already invested 90 minutes in his health and his future. The remarkable thing wasn't just that he built a successful business. The remarkable thing was how that 1 hour of focus affected the rest of his day. He arrived at work energized instead of exhausted. He came home confident instead of defeated. He went to bed satisfied instead of frustrated. That's what daily discipline does. It doesn't just change your results, it changes your identity. You become the kind of person who follows through. You become the kind of person who keeps commitments to yourself. You become the kind of person who makes things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. But here's what most people get wrong about daily discipline. They think it's about perfection. They think if they miss one day, they've failed. They think if they don't do everything exactly right, they might as well not do anything at all. That's perfectionist thinking. And perfectionist thinking is the enemy of progress. The goal isn't to be perfect for 30 days. The goal is to be consistent for 30 days. Consistency means doing your focused work most days, not every day. It means getting back on track quickly when you get off track, not staying off track because you think you've already failed. I remember working with a woman who wanted to write a children's book. She committed to writing for 30 minutes every morning for 30 days. On day 7, she overslept and missed her writing time. She was so disappointed in herself that she almost quit the entire project. I told her something that changed her perspective. The difference between successful people and unsuccessful people isn't that successful people never fail. It's that successful people fail forward. They use their failures as information, not as excuses. She got back to writing the next morning. She missed 2 more days during the 30-day period, but she wrote on 27 days. By the end of the month, she had completed her first children's book. More importantly, she had learned that consistency doesn't require perfection. The key to daily discipline is making your focused activity so small and so simple that even on your worst day, you can still do it. If you want to exercise, don't commit to running 5 miles every day. Commit to putting on your running shoes every day. If you want to read more, don't commit to reading for 2 hours every day. Commit to reading 1 page every day. Most people think they don't have time to focus. They say they're too busy, too many demands, too many responsibilities. But that's not true. They have the same 24 hours as everyone else. The difference is how they use those hours. Focused people don't have more time. They have better priorities. They've learned to distinguish between what's urgent and what's important. They've learned to say no to urgent things that aren't important, so they can say yes to important things that aren't urgent. Here's the truth. You always have time for what you make time for. If something's really important to you, you'll find time for it. If something isn't that important to you, you'll find excuses. The question isn't whether you have time to focus. The question is whether you're willing to make focusing a priority. Are you willing to wake up 30 minutes earlier? Are you willing to skip some TV shows? Are you willing to say no to some social invitations? Are you willing to reorganize your schedule around your most important goal? If you're not willing to make those small sacrifices, then you're not really committed to change. You're just interested in change, and interest doesn't produce results. Only commitment produces results. But here's what I want you to understand. Those sacrifices are temporary, but the results are permanent. You might have to wake up earlier for 30 days, but the habit you build will benefit you for 30 years. You might have to skip some entertainment for 30 days, but the progress you make will entertain you for a life. The key is to think of focus as an investment, not a cost. You're not giving up things you enjoy. You're trading things you enjoy for things you want more. You're trading temporary pleasure for permanent progress. You're trading short-term comfort for long-term success. And here's the beautiful thing about focus. It gets easier as you go. The first few days are the hardest because you're breaking old habits and building new ones. But after about a week, it starts to feel natural. After 2 weeks, it starts to feel automatic. After 30 days, it becomes part of who you are. That's because focus is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. The more you practice it, the easier it becomes. The more you do it, the more natural it feels. Most people think they're just not focused people. They think focus is a personality trait that some people have and others don't. But that's not true. Focus is a skill that anyone can develop. It's a habit that anyone can build. It's a choice that anyone can make. The only difference between focused people and unfocused people is that focused people have practiced focusing more than unfocused people. They've done the work of building the habit. They've made the choice to prioritize focus over distraction. Now let me be honest with you about something. This isn't going to be easy. If it were easy, everyone would be doing it. The fact that most people live scattered, unfocused lives proves that focus requires effort. But here's what I want you to understand. Everything worthwhile requires effort. Everything that matters is difficult. Everything that changes your life demands that you change yourself first. The question isn't whether this will be hard. The question is whether you're willing to do hard things in order to have an easy life. Are you willing to be disciplined for 30 days in order to be free for the rest of your life? Are you willing to focus intensely for 1 month in order to live purposefully for all the months that follow? You see, there are 2 kinds of pain in life, the pain of discipline and the pain of regret. The pain of discipline weighs ounces. The pain of regret weighs tons. Both are painful. But one leads to progress and the other leads to disappointment. The pain of discipline is the pain of waking up early when you'd rather sleep in. It's the pain of saying no to distractions when you'd rather say yes. It's the pain of working on your goal when you'd rather work on something easy. The pain of regret is the pain of looking back and wishing you had done things differently. It's the pain of missed opportunities. It's the pain of unrealized potential. It's the pain of knowing you could have achieved more if you had just focused. Most people try to avoid both kinds of pain, but that's impossible. You're going to experience one or the other. The question is which one you choose. Do you choose the pain of discipline, which leads to progress, or do you choose the pain of regret, which leads to disappointment? The choice is yours, but you have to choose. Not choosing is a choice. Not deciding is a decision. Not focusing is a focus on everything, which means focusing on nothing. But let me warn you about what's coming. Even if you start with great enthusiasm, even if you're completely committed, even if you have perfect clarity about your goal, you're going to face resistance. It's predictable. It's inevitable. It's part of the process. The first week will be exciting. You'll be motivated by the newness of it all. You'll have energy from the clarity of your goal. You'll feel like you can do anything, and you can, but that feeling won't last forever. The second week will be harder. The novelty will wear off. The initial excitement will fade. You'll start to remember why you weren't focused before. You'll start to feel the pull of your old habits. You'll start to question whether this is really worth it. The third week will be the hardest. You'll be tired of the routine. You'll be tempted to quit. You'll have a dozen good reasons why you should stop. This is when most people give up. This is when most people decide that focus isn't for them. But here's what I want you to understand. Week 3 is when the magic happens. Week 3 is when you break through. Week 3 is when you prove to yourself that you can do hard things. Week 3 is when you become the person you need to be to achieve your goal. If you can get through week 3, week 4 will be easier. If you can get through week 4, you'll have built a habit that will serve you for the rest of your life. If you can get through 30 days, you'll have changed not just your circumstances, but your identity. The key is to expect the resistance. Don't be surprised when it gets hard. Don't be discouraged when you don't feel like continuing. Don't be disappointed when your motivation fades. All of that is normal. All of that is part of the process. What matters is not how you feel. What matters is what you do. Feelings are temporary. Actions are permanent. Results come from actions, not feelings. You don't have to feel motivated to take action. You don't have to feel inspired to do the work. You don't have to feel like it to follow through. You just have to decide that your goal is more important than your feelings. That's what separates successful people from unsuccessful people. Unsuccessful people let their feelings determine their actions. Successful people let their goals determine their actions. When you don't feel like working on your goal, work on it anyway. When you don't feel like getting up early, get up early anyway. When you don't feel like focusing, focus anyway. That's when you develop the character that success requires. And here's what happens when you push through the resistance. You discover that you're stronger than you think. You discover that you can do things you didn't think you could do. You discover that your limitations are mostly in your mind. Every time you do something you don't feel like doing, you prove to yourself that you're in control of your life. Every time you follow through despite resistance, you build confidence. Every time you choose your goal over your feelings, you become more powerful. That's the real benefit of 30 days of focus. It's not just what you accomplish, it's who you become. It's the person you have to become in order to accomplish your goal. And that person is someone who can accomplish anything. I've seen this transformation happen thousands of times. People start with a goal, but they end up with a new identity. They start trying to change their circumstances, but they end up changing themselves. They start focused on what they want to have, but they end up focused on who they want to be. And here's the beautiful thing. When you change who you are, changing what you have becomes automatic. When you become the kind of person who follows through, following through becomes natural. When you become the kind of person who focuses, focusing becomes easy. That's why 1 month of focus can change your entire life. It's not just about the results you get in 30 days. It's about the person you become in 30 days. And that person is capable of creating any life they want. But you have to be willing to go through the process. You have to be willing to face the resistance. You have to be willing to do things you don't feel like doing. You have to be willing to choose your future over your comfort. The question is, are you willing? Are you willing to focus intensely for 30 days? Are you willing to sacrifice some immediate pleasures for long-term gains? Are you willing to become the person you need to be to live the life you want to live? If you are, then here's what happens. After 30 days of focus, you'll have more than just results. You'll have proof. Proof that you can do hard things. Proof that you can change. Proof that you can achieve your goals when you focus your energy, and that proof will give you confidence to set bigger goals. That confidence will give you motivation to focus for longer periods. That motivation will give you the energy to create the life you've always wanted. But it all starts with 30 days. 30 days of choosing focus over distraction. 30 days of choosing discipline over comfort. 30 days of choosing your future over your past. The time is going to pass anyway. The question is, how will you spend it? Will you spend it the way you've always spent it, scattered and unfocused, hoping things will somehow get better? Or will you spend it deliberately, purposefully, creating the change you want to see in your life? You have the power to choose. You have the ability to focus. You have everything you need to succeed. The only question is whether you'll use what you have. 1 month of focus can change your entire life. But only if you're willing to focus for 1 month. Only if you're willing to do what most people won't do. Only if you're willing to become who you need to be to get what you want to have. The choice is yours. The time is now. The opportunity is here. All you have to do is decide. Decide to focus. Decide to commit. Decide to change your life. 30 days from now, you'll be 30 days older whether you focus or not. The question is, will you also be 30 days closer to your goals? Will you be 30 days stronger? Will you be 30 days better? You can be, you should be, you will be if you choose to focus. 1 month of focus can change your entire life, but you have to choose to focus for 1 month. The power is in your hands. The choice is yours. The time is now. Focus for 30 days and watch your entire life change. I guarantee it will be worth it. I guarantee you'll be glad you did. I guarantee it will be the best month of your life. So make the choice, make the commitment, make the change, focus for 30 days, and change your life forever. Remember, success is not about what you accomplish in life. It's about who you become in the process of accomplishing it. And 30 days of focus will help you become the person you need to be to accomplish anything you want. The question isn't whether this works. The question is whether you'll work it. Will you give it everything you've got for 30 days? Will you focus like your life depends on it? Because in many ways, it does. Your future's waiting. Your goals are waiting. Your dreams are waiting. They're all waiting for you to focus. They're all waiting for you to commit. They're all waiting for you to change. Don't keep them waiting any longer. Start today. Start now. Focus for 30 days and change your life forever. You have the power. You have the ability. You have everything you need. All you need now is the decision to begin. Make that decision. Make it now. Make it final. And then watch as 1 month of focus changes your entire life. The time for thinking is over. The time for wishing is over. The time for hoping is over. The time for focusing is now. The time for changing is now. The time for living the life you want is now. Focus for 30 days. Change your life forever. You can do it. You should do it. You will do it. So here we are. You've heard the stories. You've learned the principles. You understand the power of 30 days of focus. Now comes the moment of truth. Now comes the decision that will determine whether this is just another speech you heard or the turning point that changed your life. Let me be direct with you. You can leave here today and go back to your scattered life. You can go back to working on everything and accomplishing nothing. You can go back to being busy instead of being productive. You can go back to hoping things will change instead of making things change. Or you can make a different choice. You can choose to focus. You can choose to commit. You can choose to prove to yourself that you're capable of more than you've been settling for. I want you to think about where you'll be 30 days from now if you don't change anything. Think about how you'll feel if you're in the exact same place dealing with the exact same problems, having the exact same frustrations. Think about the regret you'll feel knowing you had the knowledge but didn't use it. Now think about where you could be 30 days from now if you focus. Think about the progress you could make. Think about the confidence you could build. Think about the momentum you could create. Think about the person you could become. The choice is yours, but you must choose. Not choosing is choosing to stay where you are. Not deciding is deciding to accept whatever life gives you instead of creating what you want. Here's what I want you to do right now. Before you leave this room, before you check your phone, before you get distracted by the demands of daily life, I want you to identify your one thing. What's the one area of your life that if you focused on it for 30 days would make the biggest difference? Here's where we other may be the difference. Is it your health? Is it your relationships? Is it your career? Is it your finances? Is it a skill you need to develop? Is it a habit you need to break? Is it a dream you need to pursue? Whatever it is, write it down. Make it specific. Make it measurable. Make it something you can focus on for 30 days. Then make a commitment, not just to me, not just to the people around you, but to yourself. Commit to 30 days of focused effort. Commit to becoming the person who follows through. Commit to proving that you can do hard things. Because here's the truth. You can do this. You have everything you need. You have the knowledge. You have the ability. You have the time. The only question is whether you have the will. 30 days from now, you'll be 30 days older, whether you focus or not. The question is, will you also be 30 days better? Will you be 30 days stronger? Will you be 30 days closer to the life you want? You can be, you should be, you will be if you choose to focus. The time for excuses is over. The time for procrastination is over. The time for wishing and hoping is over. The time for action is now. Choose to focus. Choose to commit. Choose to change your life. 1 month of focus can change your entire life, but only if you focus for 1 month. The choice is yours. Choose wisely. Choose now. Your future is waiting. Don't keep it waiting any longer.